Hey up guys, that's Friede, back at it again with another Pokemon Horizons review. And all I gotta say is, this episode was incredible. So make sure you guys like this video, leave a comment on your thoughts on the episode, and subscribe for more content like this in the future. But let's just get right into that review, because it is a banger. This episode starts off with all the kids talking about Friede and Captain Pikachu, and them wondering how Friede and the Captain met and the secrets behind the Captain. That is when they go ask them themselves with a little video recording that Dot is making for her Needle Thing channel. And we get this incredible scene of Roy and Liko doing the Needle Thing intro with Quaxley, and it was really funny. And yeah, I hope we get more stuff like that. Them having a phone with them so Dot can record their experiences for their channel. That would be nice. But Friede's really avoiding the kids, not trying to tell them what they want to know. So then they start interviewing the rest of the Voltacklers, which none of them really know the true origins. And we learn later on that most of them aren't even a part of the original crew, because only 3 members on the current crew were the original 3, including Captain Pikachu. So yeah, they wouldn't even know. That is when they ask Orla, who actually tricks Friede into telling the entire crew the story, because she was actually one of the original members, and has known Friede, besides Ludlow, maybe the longest. Because, as we'll see once Friede starts his story, Ludlow and him used to be fishing buddies, and Ludlow used to be more of a mentor towards Friede. We get this scene of them fishing together and just talking. Friede's story when he met Pikachu was 6 years ago from the current time. So that means when Liko and Roy were both 4. And at this point, Friede really doesn't have a direction. He's just hanging out with Ludlow, fishing on a boat with Charizard. But his life changes when he gets a call from Liko's mother, who is his former teacher. We get a nice scene of Friede and Liko's mother talking in the restaurant where Larry's gym battle takes place, and it's very funny because we see Larry in the background just eating. And I'm sorry, that is the best way to introduce Larry in the series. There is no other way to do that besides him being in the background. My guy Larry does not need some extravagant, oh my god, it's Larry. No, he's in the background, just there, barely noticeable. And if you didn't even play the games, you wouldn't even know that's the gym leader. That's the craziest part. Oh my god, Larry's just the best character. If you guys don't know who Larry is, you're missing out on the greatest gym leader ever. But yeah, Liko's mom tells Friede a bit about a Pikachu that she's seen recently, and they go to visit it. This is very interesting because based on how they were talking, they seem to have known each other for a while, and we do know Friede was once one of her mother's students. So I'm curious if Friede had just always been a student to Liko's mom, like that one student that became so friendly with the teacher, and they kept in contact, and she's always checking in on him because she feels responsible for how his life is going. Which at this point, we, like I said, really directionless and just going day by day. And like I said before, yet again, Liko's mom changes that by showing him a flying Pikachu. Now this scene is really cool because we see Pikachu use its Volt Tackle to spin around, create a tornado or whatever, and propel itself into the air. We see it do it multiple times throughout the episode, always when the sun first rises so we can get to see it, which is very nice, and a really good detail later on, which I'll explain. But yeah, Friede tries to befriend the Pikachu, but it's a little standoffish, and yeah, it's just the captain. The captain has seemed to have always had a personality of just being that guy in him, as seen from this episode, and I respect that. Honestly, respect the captain. He's one of the best characters of the show. Yeah, but after befriending or attempting to befriend Pikachu more and learn more about its attempts to fly and dreams to fly, he actually calls Liko's mom, and we see a younger Liko. That's right, we see 4-year-old Liko, and we even see Friede get a little embarrassed when he sees her on the phone. So this has me thinking maybe he's a little jealous that his mentor has a family, because like a lot of people say, there's a lot of romantic tension between Rico's mother and Friede, so maybe it's been a one-sided crush since he's a student, and she's always been in love with Alex, I guess. But don't worry, Friede, you basically are that kid's father now, her second father. But this is really cute getting to see early on Nico, and even seeing that Friede knew about her for the longest time now, even before becoming a Rising Volt Tackler. Speaking of Rising Volt Tackler, Friede actually got the name from what Pikachu was doing. It was using Volt Tackle to rise into the sky and fly, which is a very nice detail actually, and it kind of explains a lot. But Friede explains this to Rico's mother and even shows her a video of it doing this. He then sees Pikachu do it again, and this time he gets on Charizard to fly up and watch the sunrise with Pikachu, and a nice scene that's very similar to all those scenes of like Rico and Roy looking into the sunrise and Dot, which I really like this scene. It was really beautifully animated, and the fact that this is what made Pikachu want to become partners with Friede, so that him, Friede, and Charizard could fly the skies together, was just very nice. And it was really nice seeing the build up to this capture, even though we knew how it was going to end. Friede wanting to learn more about this Pikachu and its aspirations, and even help it reach its goal and fly. After this, it seems Friede has figured out what he wants to do with his life. He wants to fly around the world with Pikachu and Charizard. So he asks Ludlow if he can use his boat, the Sagi, to travel the world, and that's when they recruit Orla to convert it into an airship. This was said previously in an episode, I think the Picnic episode, that Ludlow's original boat is what made up the Brave Sagi after Orla's modifications. So it was really cool seeing it, and it was nice to see how Ludlow and Orla joined the team. Orla made the ship, so she decided to go along with them so that she can make sure it's always working. And Ludlow, it's his boat. It's his fishing boat. That makes sense why he's always fishing. And even in the flashback, he was just fishing on it. So it makes sense that, hey, he kind of used his boat, so he's gonna have to join the crew to continue his fishing travel. Oh, speaking of fishing, this is going off tangent, but like there was a scene where Ludlow was fishing. This is current day, and then Quaxley just sits right next to him like he used to at the beginning of the series, and that was nice to see because even though he's Dot's partner, he still likes to sit around Ludlow and fish. But yeah. With that, Friede lets Pikachu be captain as it was Pikachu who's inspired the whole thing, and that was the formation of the Rising Volt Tacklers. And the episode ends off with them all arriving in Galar, and that possibly being the end of the first chapter, the Rico and Roy sets off arc. I don't know yet. We didn't get an intro, and it seemed the very conclusion to me, and we're just moving on. We're at a point where Rico and Roy are established trainers, so it makes sense. But overall, I loved this episode. It was really cool seeing a new side to Friede, this younger side who had no plan of where he was going, compared to the cool guy we have now. I also loved seeing Ludlow and Orla in the past because, to be honest, at this current point, Ludlow and Orla were like the two weakest Volt Tacklers. Molly had a whole episode to herself where she got backstory, and even there's a lot of episodes where she is the one with Rico when they're doing stuff on the ship or running errands in the town. So we've gotten a lot of Molly. We also got a lot of Murdoch because he's Dot's uncle, so we've got a lot of scenes about him regarding Dot. And we've also got a lot of like nice bonding scenes between him, Rico, and Roy, and even like cool scenes between Friede and Roy. But yeah. And Ludlow has gotten stuff like the Quagsire reveal, which I love that reveal because this guy had been sitting on a boat for like 11 episodes doing nothing, and then pulls out a Quagsire. Like, that was fun. So it's finally nice seeing more of Orla and Ludlow. I just hope we can see even more of them in the future because I don't know. I didn't see the hype around Orla before this episode, but I'm starting to now. She seemed like a really good character. I also love that Rico's mom yet again appears, and she wasn't just one-off in that episode, and she even has relevance to Friede. and Pikachu as set up in the episode where she first appeared, knowing them already and being their teacher. And with them arriving in Galar, I can't wait to see how this Galar arc plays out. Oh, and Larry, more Larry, that's all we need. Next time to go to Galar, go to that restaurant, keep putting Larry in the background, and then, I don't even know how you're going to do a twist if no one's taking on the gym challenge, but I would just love if we see Larry throughout the background multiple times, and he just bumps into Liko and Roy and says sorry, and then just continues walking off. And then maybe, I don't know, like, this would just be so funny if somehow one of them takes on his gym, and then they're like, oh my god, you're the guy who bumped into us, and then they had no clue. And then they take on the Elite Four for no reason, and then he just shows up, like, we gotta love Larry. But yeah, this episode is a 10 out of 10, the best episode of Horizons right now. And maybe for a while, but you never know. That 2 episodes ago was the best one for a while, and now this one's out. But yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the episode, so make sure you leave a comment and subscribe for more content like this in the future. S-Man, signing off.